ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වරට SLT 4G වෙතින් දැන් Pure TV නරඹන්න. ඉදිරියටම ගෙන යන SLT 4G.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට ඒක
Tonight, New Year distance. President and the Prime Minister urge the public to celebrate the New Year with a limited social circle. Good times ahead. Tea exporters buoyant on Ceylon Tea outlook as production shut down in India sends global demand up. Zero tolerance. Police to come down hard on COVID-19 concealers and collaborators. No breathers. Director General of Health Services says country should not rest just yet as COVID-19 end still to come. All that and much more coming up on First at 9 this Monday the 13th of April 2020.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
හැටනමයි අනුහතට SMS කර රුපියල් මිලියන 3ක මුල්තැන්ගේ උපකරණ දිනාගෙන අවුරුද්දෙම කුස්සිය ටයිම් සේව් කරගන්න.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammika Ekanayaka. Now the Sinhala and Tamil New Year dawned at 8:23 p.m. today, coinciding with the transition of the sun from the zodiac sign of Pisces to the sign of Aries. Even though it is a long-awaited time of renewal and warmth, as well as being a time to bring people and families together, as well as communities, the prevailing crisis in the world has compelled us to distance ourselves from our loved ones and limit social associations. Although bringing people together is the very essence of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, this year it is better celebrated apart.
The Sinhala and Tamil New Year dawned at 8:23 p.m. today. Since early times, Sri Lankans celebrate the dawn of Sinhala and Tamil New Year, which coincides with the sun's transit to Aries from Pisces, by performing rituals on auspicious times. The sighting of the new moon falls on Sunday the 26th of April. From 1:59 p.m. today to 2:47 a.m. tomorrow is considered neutral time, locally known as Punya Kalaya. During this time, it is traditional to cease all forms of work and engage in religious observances. Any consumption of food must also be done prior to the advent of this time period. Meanwhile, the auspicious time to start preparing meals falls at 10:05 this evening. The public are advised to be clad in white-coloured attire and face east when lighting the hearth. At 9:17 a.m. on Wednesday the 15th of April, the anointing of oil should be observed while clad in green facing east, while standing on kulun leaves and placing neem leaves on your head. The public is advised to set off for work at 7:56 a.m. on Friday, the 17th of April, facing east, while being dressed in blue-coloured attire. Given the current ordeal the entire world is faced with, the government requests people to refrain from leaving their homes to observe rituals and to limit social associations and celebrations.
Now, as the country prepares to celebrate the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, social distancing and limitation of family gatherings remains the hallmark of this year's festival. Releasing New Year messages, Sri Lanka's President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa urged the countrymen and women to celebrate the new year in accordance with the health and safety guidelines with determination in order to defeat the deadly threat to the country.
Extending his wishes to all Sri Lankans for the Sinhala and Tamil New Year being celebrated today, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa also requested people to maintain social distancing while celebrating the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Calling children the true beneficiaries of the happiness of the new year, the head of state called on adults to create an environment for children to experience the cheerfulness of this festive season, regardless of the limitations currently experienced. The President also requested the public to join hands with determination to defeat the COVID-19 menace that threatens the entire country. Conveying his message, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that even during these difficult and trying times, We as a nation must appreciate the true meaning of our New Year. The Premier added that we must be able to sustain and strengthen our age-old customs and traditions through simple celebrations carried out with equanimity while calling on members of the public to remain home. The Prime Minister added that, quote, the value of our national aspirations based on our centuries-old traditions and customs would be felt at this time more than at any other time in history. It is our deep resolve and strong national and cultural bonds that have held us in good stead to successfully face the deadly pandemic that has gripped and humbled the world, unquote.
Now moving on with other stories, Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasing insists that Sri Lanka is still not out of the woods with regards to arresting the COVID-19 pandemic. His caution comes as 40 new cases were added to Sri Lanka's tally over the last 24 hours. Authorities continue to urge people who know that they have come into contact with the virus or with patients who have contracted the virus or those with questionable travel history to come forward without absconding authorities. As for those who fail to do so, a police investigation awaits.
Sri Lanka's total number of COVID-19 cases stands at 217 today, after 14 more cases reported in the past 24 hours. No new recoveries have been reported since yesterday. This brings the total active cases currently undergoing treatment to 154, along with 117 suspected cases under observation and one patient reportedly in critical condition. Of the 154 patients under treatment are 91 persons being treated at the National Institute of Infectious Diseases, 28 at the Colombo East Base Hospital and 22 at the Valikanda Base Hospital. Sri Lanka's recovery rate saw a slight decline today to 25.8% from yesterday's 27.5%. However, recovery rates continue to rise in most countries battling the virus, a possible indication of governments and health officials getting a proper handle on the pandemic. Some of the new cases reported have been detected among a total of 609 people sent into mandatory quarantine after being exposed to known COVID-19 patients and who later underwent PCR testing. Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasing revealed that 8 individuals out of the 11 new cases were already at quarantine centres, while the remainder were patients from the Berwala area who were sent to the Punani quarantine centre.
මේ රෝගයේ යම්කිසි ආකාරයකට පාලනයක් අපි නතු කරගෙන ඉන්නවා. නමුත් මේ රෝගී තත්ත්වය අවසන් වෙලා නැහැ. සෑම දිනකම අපිට යම් රෝගීන් සංඛ්‍යාවක් ලැබෙනවා. ඊයේ ගත්තොත් එහෙම වාර්තාගත පරීක්ෂණ සංඛ්‍යාවක් කරා. මෙහිදී විශේෂයෙන්ම අප විසින් පරීක්ෂණ කිරීම පිළිබඳ අපේ උපක්‍රමයන් වෙනස් වීමත් සමග සමාජයේ මේ රෝගීන් ඇතිවන ස්ථාන අවට ඇසුරු කරන්නන්ගෙන් පරීක්ෂණ පැවැත්වීම, ඒ වගේම නිරෝධායන මධ්‍යස්ථානවල පරීක්ෂණ පැවැත්වීම තුළ අපිට එවැනි රෝගීන් තමයි හසු මේ හැම රෝගියෙක්ම ඉහත රෝගීන් හා සම්බන්ධකම් තියෙන රෝගීන්. ඒ නිසා මේ එකම දන්වැලක පුරුක් හැටියට අපිට සලකන්න පුළුවන්. එය අපිට ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම යම්කිසි ආශ්වාසයල්ලක් ගෙන කරුණක්. නමුත් මේ තාම අපිට අවසානයක් දකින්න නොලැබීම අපිට ගැටලුවක්.
In the meantime, 6 patients were admitted to the Iranavila Treatment Centre in Puttalam yesterday. Among this group were patients from Jayala who tested positive while under quarantine at the Oluville Quarantine Centre. Further, one more patient detected yesterday who had tested positive after being admitted to the Colombo North Teaching Hospital was a neighbour of the initial Sudubella patient. The patient was subsequently transferred to the IDH hospital last night. Following this detection, a group of 32, including the patient's family members and others who had been exposed, were subjected to PCR tests and transported to the Nachikuda Navy Quarantine Centre. Meanwhile, a patient who had been admitted to the Jayala Rural Hospital had fled the hospital before being apprehended by the Jayala police and transported to a quarantine centre as a precautionary measure.
අපි නිරන්තරයෙන් උපදෙස් ලබා දී තිබුණා ටුවර් ගයිඩ් සංචාරක මඟ පෙන්වන්නට හෝ සංචාරකින්ට සහාය දක්වන පුද්ගලයන් වහාම ස්වයං නිරෝධායනයට ලක්විය යුතු බවට. නමුත් තවමත් එවැනි පුද්ගලයන් ලියාපදිංචි කිරීමක් හෝ ස්වයං නිරෝධායනයට ලක් වූ බවක් වාර්තා වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ නිසාම මේ සම්බන්ධ අවදානම් සාගත තත්වයක් ඇති වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි නැවතත් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ඔබ යම් ආකාරයක සංචාරක මඟ පෙන්වන්නෙක් හැටියට නැත්නම් සංචාරක මඟ පෙන්වන්න සහායකයෙකු හැටියට එමත් නැත්නම් සංචාරකයන් පැමිණි යම් සම්බාහනෝ වෙනත් ආයතනයක සේවකයෙකු හැටියට සිට තිබෙනවා නම් වහාම ලියාපදිංචි විය යුතුයි. ඒ වගේම නිරෝධායන ක්‍රියාවලියට අනුගත විය යුතුයි. පසුගිය දිනයේ මෙම රෝගය තිබෙන බවට අනාවරණය වූ රෝගීන් සම්බන්ධව සලකා බැලීමේදී එයින් බහුතරයක් රෝග ලක්ෂණ තිබෙන බවට වසන් කිරීමට උත්සාහ කර ඇති බව පෙනී ගොස් තිබෙනවා. ඔබ කිසිම අවස්ථාවක බිය විය යුතු නැහැ. ඔබට මෙවැනි රෝග ලක්ෂණ තිබෙන බව සඳහන් කිරීමට කරුණාකර එවැනි රෝග ලක්ෂණයක් තියෙනවා නම් කිසිම අවස්ථාවක රෝහල්ගත වෙන්නට එපා. ළඟම තියෙන පොලිස් ස්ථානයකට දැනුම් දෙන්න නැත්නම් 119ට දැනුම් දෙන්න අපි සූදානම් ඔබට අවශ්‍ය සහාය ලබා දීමට. නමුත් පසුගිය දිනවල මෙම රෝගය තිබෙන බවට වාර්තා වූ සමහර රෝගීන් ඊටම කනගාටුදායක ලෙස එවැගේ මෙම රෝගය සමහර විට නොසැලකිලිමත් ක්‍රියාවකින් හෝ චේතනාන්විත ක්‍රියාවකින් පැතිරවීමේ අදහසකින් කටයුතු කළාදැයි යම් ආකාරයක විමර්ශනයේදී සැකයක් මතුවී තිබෙනවා. ඒ තරමටම ඔවුන් තොරතුරු බොහොමයක් වසන් කර තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි කාරුණිකව ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මේ රෝගයේ රෝග ලක්ෂණ වලින් පෙනෙනවා නම් සියලු තොරතුරු දැනුම් දීමට කිසිම ආකාරයක මැලිකමක් දක්වන්නට එපා. අද දිනේදී අපි විමර්ශන 3ක් ආරම්භ කර තිබෙනවා. මෙම රෝගය තිබෙන බවට ඊයේ අනාවරණය වූ රෝගීන් තිදෙනෙකු සම්බන්ධව ඒ තිදෙනාම නියමාකාර ලෙස නිරෝධායන රෙගුලාසි වලට ගරු නොකර ඒ වගේම අසත්‍ය ප්‍රකාශ කරමින් රෝහල් වලට ඇතුළත් වී තිබුණා. පසුව මේ රෝගී රෝග ලක්ෂණ ඔවුන්ට මුල සිටම තිබෙන බව දැනදැනත් ඔවුන් ඒ වසන් කළ බවට තොරතුරු අනාවරණය වී තිබුණා.
Meanwhile, a sanitation worker at the Bandaranaike International Airport had also tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. A 43-year-old colleague of the patient from near Diripola in Varakapola was placed in self-quarantine at a residence by health authorities as a precaution but was admitted to the IDH hospital after displaying symptoms similar to that of COVID-19. Following this, health authorities proceeded to disinfect the patient's residence as well as the surrounding areas. In a separate development, 20 persons reportedly exposed to the first COVID-19 patient from the Atalugama village of Bandargama and who were sent to the quarantine centre at the Sarvodaya centre in Aludgama have been released and returned to their homes after testing negative 16 days after entering quarantine. Meanwhile, 2 victims of an accident from the Atalugama village were transported to hospital with injuries. In the meantime, health officers in Beruwala have commenced obtaining biological samples from persons in the area in order to conduct PCR tests today.
මුළු දිස්ත්‍රික්කය තුලින් වාර්තා වන රෝගීන් සංඛ්‍යාවෙන් 153ක් ප්‍රතිශතයක් දක්වා ඉහළ නැග තිබෙනවා බේරුවල සෞඛ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරී කාර්යාලය තුලින් වාර්තා වන රෝගීන් ගණන. එම නිසා සමාජය තුලට ගොස්, ගෙවල් වලට ගොස් කරන මෙම ජෛව පටල සාම්පල ලබා ගැනීම දිකටම සිදු කරනවා. නමුත් මේ අද දිනේ වෙනකොට අපි කරන ගන්නාලද ක්‍රියාමාර්ග මගින් මෙම ප්‍රදේශය තුල රෝගීන් වාහනේ වාහකයන් සහ රෝගීන් හඳුනා ගැනීම යම් තාක් දුරට පාලනය වීමක් සිදු වෙයි. හොඳ දිශානතියකින් ගමන් කරනවා කියන එක අපිට හොඳට පැහැදිලි වෙනවා.
කොරෝනා වෛරසය පැතිරීම වළක්වන්න සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න.
Now, in the meantime, the country's security forces and police are unrelenting in tracking down people who have come into contact with those who have tested positive for the rapid spreading coronavirus.
Following the detection of several COVID-19 cases in the Suduwala area in Jala, the Sri Lanka Navy has stepped up operations to round up individuals who have had close contact with known COVID-19 patients. Naval personnel transported 32 such individuals from the Jala area to the Navy's quarantine centre in Oluville. Earlier on the 9th of April, the Navy commenced an operation in the Suduwala village to apprehend 29 individuals attempting to evade precautionary quarantine. Out of the 28 persons apprehended, 6 have tested positive for the virus so far. Following this, the Navy intelligence units along with the police launched another operation covering the Jala and Markevita areas on Saturday to locate more persons identified as having been exposed. A total of 52 persons had been located during the operation, with 43 from Jala and 9 from the area of Markevita. The group consisted of 42 men, 10 women and 6 children among them. This group was also transported to the Navy's Oluville Quarantine Centre following preliminary health checks yesterday. Another 32-member group was also sent off to the Oluville Centre today.
නිෂ්පාදිත දිනය කවදත් අලුත් වටවල තේ අරගන්න.
වටවල තේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ තේ එක.
2 police officers who took matters into their own hands to discipline 4 curfew violators yesterday have been suspended. Now, in the meantime, a special operation was launched by the police today to apprehend those who violate the island-wide curfew currently in effect. The 24-hour operation will be conducted until 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Since the curfew was first imposed on the 20th of last month, over 20,000 persons have ended up in police custody for violating the curfew. Despite the police discouraging people from taking to streets, some continue to do so, and as a result, the police today launched a 24-hour special operation to crack down on curfew violators starting from 6 p.m.
මේ බැරෑරුම් තත්ත්වය තාමත් ජනතාව තේරුම්ගෙන නොමැති බවටයි මේ අනුව පෙනී යන්නේ. ඇඳිරි නීති කාලය තුල කිසිම අවස්ථාවක විශේෂයෙන්ම සඳහන් කර ඇති අත්‍යවශ්‍ය සේවා සපයන ආයතන හෝ ඒවායේ සේවකීන් හැරෙන්නට කිසිවෙකුට මාර්ගවල ගමන් කිරීමට එක්රැස් වී සිටීමට හැකියාවක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වගේම ඔවුන්ට අනුබල දෙන පුද්ගලයන්ට එරෙහිවත් අපි නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා. ඔවුන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීමට කටයුතු කරනවා.
Yesterday, we brought you footage of 2 police officers disciplining 4 persons who were loitering along Dali Road in Maradana of Colombo without curfew permits. The police headquarters, however, announced today that the 2 police officers involved in the incident are suspended. The charges levelled against the sergeant and the constable are disobeying orders and disreputable behaviour. It added that disciplinary actions will be taken against the duo attached to the Colombo City Traffic Division. With the curfew still in effect, police is continuing to crack down on those who venture outdoors without curfew permits and those moving about in public without face masks. Meanwhile, Pugoda Police Special Task Force unravelled an illicit liquor operation near the Pugoda Canal. 3 suspects were apprehended along with 60 kilograms of sugar intended to be used in the liquor production. In Ambilipitia, a suspect was taken into custody with 706 litres of Goda in the area of Thorakolayaya by the Anti-Corruption Unit of the Ambilipitia Police. Meanwhile, a consignment of dried fish unfit for human consumption was also seized at the security checkpoint at Agbopura. The consignment was found from a lorry plying from Peta to Kinya. What's more, 200 kilograms of fish unfit for human consumption was found from another lorry plying from Gaul to Kinya by public health inspectors of Agbopura today. In the meantime, the government announced today that the work-from-home period is extended until the 20th of April. The system was introduced by the government as a measure of controlling of COVID-19 outbreak for employees of both public and private sectors. As the country battles the deadly pandemic, religious observances to invoke blessings on the Triforces, police, state and health sector employees as well as the general public was worked off at the Presidential Secretariat.
We will see you again shortly after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, AdaDerana celebrated the Ceylon Tamil New Year with those at the front line in the battle against COVID-19, working tirelessly while putting their own lives at tremendous risk. Parcels of seasonal treats were distributed among Triforces and police personnel as well as health sector employees.
The traditional practice of visiting friends and relatives during the Sinhala and Tamil New Year was symbolized by us at AdaDerana as we visited the Infectious Diseases Hospital in Angura today. As a tribute to the health sector personnel who worked day and night to control the spread of COVID-19, our humanitarian arm distributed parcels of seasonal treats, including various sweetmeats. Members of the Triforces were also treated with sweetmeats, with Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva too joining the occasion from Jaffna. Police officers and army personnel engaging in duties at roadblocks and checkpoints were also given seasonal treats, with the head of traffic police, DIG Ajit Rohana, joining the occasion. AdaDerana, who came to the aid of the public during the most dire of circumstances, is ready to continue their efforts towards humankind.
Now, leader of the Pivithuru Hela Urume Uday Gammampila says that neither the president nor the government has any urgency to hold a general election in face of the COVID-19 threat, as claimed by the opposition. This was in response to statements from several former opposition lawmakers in the past few days, calling on the president to both reconvene parliament and set a date for the parliamentary elections.
රුවන් විජේවර්ධන මැතිතුමා කියන්නේ ව්‍යවස්ථාව අනුව මැතිවරණ පැවැත්වීමේ වගකීම තියෙන ජනාධිපතිතුමාට බවත් එය මැතිවරණ කොමිසමට පැවරීම නුසුදුසු ක්‍රියාවක් බවත් අවාසනාවට එතුමාට නීතිය ගැන අවබෝධයක් නැති බවයි පේන්නේ. මැතිවරණයේ පැවැත්වීම පිළිබඳ සම්පූර්ණ බලය ලබා දීලා තියෙන්නේ මැතිවරණ කොමිසමටයි. පවතින වසංගත තත්ත්වය සලකලා පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණේ කල් දාලා තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණයේ පැවැත්වීම පමණක් නෙවෙයි කල් දැමීම පවා ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ බලයක් නොව මැතිවරණ කොමිසමේ බලයක් කියන එක මේ වන විට ප්‍රායෝගිකව මුළු රට ඉදිරියේම තිබෙනවා. එහෙමනම් මේ මොහොතේ මැතිවරණයක් පවත්වන්න ආණ්ඩුව උත්සාහ කරලත් නැහැ. ඒ වගේම ආණ්ඩුවට උවමනාවකුත් නැහැ. අන්න ඒ නිසා තමයි මැතිවරණ කොමිසම විසින් පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණය දින නියමයක් නැතුව කල් දාන්න තීරණය කළාම ඒට එරෙහිව ආණ්ඩුව කිසිම කරුණු දැක්වීමක් සිදු කළේ නැත්තේ. ඒක මැතිවරණ කොමිසමේ අයිතියක් වගේම පවතින වාතාවරණයේ යටතේ මැතිවරණ කොමිසම කළ යුතු දෙයක් බවට අපි විශ්වාස කළ නිසා. ඒ වගේම ආණ්ඩුවේ අපි කවදාකවත් කොතනවත් කියලා නැහැ වසංගත තත්ත්වයේ නොසලකා වහම මැතිවරණයේ පැවැත්විය යුතුයි කියලා. ජනාධිපතිතුමා විසින් පැවති පාර්ලිමේන්තුව යලි කැඳවීමට නීතිමය වශයෙන් බැඳී ඉන්නේ හදිසි නීතිය පනවන අවස්ථාවකදී විතරයි. නිලධාරීන්ගේ රටේ ප්‍රධානියා විදිහට ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේත් මතය වන්නේ පවතින නීති රීති හොඳටම ප්‍රමාණවත් කොරෝනා මර්ධනය සඳහා ඒ බව ආණ්ඩුව කතාවෙන් විතරක් නෙවෙයි ක්‍රියාවෙනුත් මේ වෙනට මුළු ලෝකෙටම ආදර්ශයක් වෙන්න විදිහට ඔප්පු කර තිබෙන නිසා විසිරුවා හරින ලද පාර්ලිමේන්තුව යලි කැඳවීමට කිසිම අවශ්‍යතාවයකුත් නැහැ කිසිම නීතිමය බැඳුමකුත් නැහැ.
Now then, former parliamentarian Ranjan Ramanayake has been arrested. The former deputy minister was arrested on charges of obstructing police officers in the execution of their duties. The arrest was made by Mirihana police at the Madivela housing complex. The Monetary Board of the Central Bank has decided to introduce a number of measures to provide flexibility to non-bank financial institutions, namely licensed finance companies and specialized leasing companies, facilitating them to support businesses and individuals affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. These measures include relaxation of regulatory requirements and granting liquidity support for needy licensed finance companies. The Monetary Board has relaxed several regulatory requirements as measures to support the COVID-19 affected businesses and individuals on an urgent basis. Among them is the reduction of maintenance of liquid asset requirement for time deposits, savings deposits and borrowings to ease liquidity stress faced by licensed finance companies and specialized leasing companies due to sudden withdrawal of cash by depositors and delay of repayment of loan rentals. Meanwhile, an extension of 1 year is granted to comply with minimum core capital requirements. Accordingly, timeline of January 1st, 2020 and January 1st, 2021 already set for enhancement of capital up to 2 billion rupees and 2.5 billion rupees will be extended until the 31st of December 2020 and the 31st of December 2021 respectively. It has also been decided to defer the enhancement of minimum capital adequacy requirements due by LFCs and SLCs on July 1st, 2020 and July 1st, 2021 for a further period of 1 year until July 1st, 2021 and July 1st, 2022 respectively. Deadlines of submission of statutory returns are also relaxed and accordingly all LFCs and SLCs are informed to submit statutory returns to the Department of Supervision of Non-Bank Financial Institutions within 2 weeks of the commencement of normal business operations of such LFCs and SLCs. Further, arrangements have been made to provide liquidity support under Sri Lanka Deposit Insurance and Liquidity Support Scheme for LFCs with acceptable collaterals to facilitate urgent liquidity needs of such LFCs in order to ensure the safety and soundness of LFCs. In addition to that, non-bank financial institutions are advised to take all responsible measures to minimize their operational costs and to provide the benefits to the needy people who are affected with this COVID-19 pandemic and to revive their businesses. The Sri Lanka Tea Exporters Association today stated that the industry looks forward to recommencing exports to key markets as high demand and high prices for Ceylon tea are currently being experienced as the shutdown in India has created a spike in demand.
Sri Lanka Tea Exporters Association says that it looks forward to commencing exports as soon as possible and eagerly awaits a digital tea auction scheduled to be held from the 16th to the 18th of this month. In a media communique, the association however noted that while it was concerned about the global situation, tea buyers from key Ceylon export destinations such as Russia, Turkey, the EU and the Middle East had helped maintain the buoyancy of the last auction held. The statement revealed that with the digital auction being held after a gap of 2 weeks, there was a higher demand for the country's limited supply of 4.5 million kilograms of Ceylon tea, which had resulted in a higher average price of 74 rupees per kilogram. The association added that there has been no import restriction placed on Ceylon tea, with foreign buyers treating it as a priority product. Further, the statement added that with the lockdown situation having temporarily shut down tea production in India, buyers have turned towards Sri Lanka's industry to fill the gap. Hence, it is imperative that the country's producers continue to maintain production quality to take advantage of the situation. In view of the tight global supply situation, the Tea Exporters Association is of the opinion that there will be a strong demand for Ceylon tea in the short term, and the prices will remain strong at the next tea auctions running up to end of May to early June 2020.
Now, shares were mostly lower today in Asia, while crude prices gained more than $1 per barrel after OPEC and other oil-producing nations agreed to cut output to reflect the collapse of demand due to the pandemic. Just hours before markets reopened, OPEC, Russia and other oil producers finalized an unprecedented production cut of nearly 10 million barrels, or a tenth of global supplies, seeking to boost crashing prices and end a price war. In Japan, the benchmark Nikkei 225 closed down 2.33%, while the South Korean stock market's main Kospi index closed down 1.88%. Meanwhile, the Shanghai Composite Index dropped 0.49%, while shares in Singapore, Taiwan and Indonesia also saw drops during trading today. Markets in Hong Kong, Sydney and some other regional markets were closed for Easter holidays. This week will bring a slew of first quarter corporate earnings that are likely to give an indication of how badly the pandemic has affected business, though much of the damage has come since end of March. China is due to report its first quarter GDP data on Friday. We will see you again after this break. Bear with us. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, over 1,000 football fans attended a Belarusian league match yesterday, despite calls from a number of fan groups to boycott matches because of the growing threat of the coronavirus. The match between Brest and Ishlok Minsk was one of 3 played in the top flight of Vyashale League yesterday. It's the only league in Europe not currently suspended because of the coronavirus. Now, fans were seen embracing as they celebrated a goal being scored with only a number of supporters wearing protective masks. Belarus currently has 2,587 reported cases with 26 deaths from the coronavirus. Now, the Italian Football Federation hopes that players can be tested for coronavirus at the start in May in preparation for the season to restart. Serie A has been suspended since March 9th because of the global pandemic. There is no set date for when the campaign can resume in Italy, with 12 full rounds and 4 outstanding fixtures still to play. Italy has been one of the countries hardest hit by the coronavirus crisis, and players at the number of clubs have been infected. Juventus lead the Italian top flight, 1 point ahead of Lazio and 9 clear of third place Inter Milan. Brescia president, whose side are bottom of the table, has said that he is ready to forfeit the club's remaining games if the season resumes. Now, as global COVID-19 cases near the 2 million mark, signs are showing of a slowdown in the European Union as Italy and France recorded lower deaths in the past 24 hours. Meanwhile, in the United States, a rift seems to be widening between the U.S. government's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci and President Donald Trump following critical comments aimed at the administration.
The United States, which currently stands as the worst COVID-19 hit country in the world, reported 1,528 deaths in the last 24 hours, bringing its full death toll to 22,109. Director of the National Institute of Infectious Diseases, Dr. Anthony Fauci, stated that the country could have saved the majority of those lives lost if more was done by the Trump administration to curb the spread of the virus early on. Dr. Fauci accused the administration of ignoring warnings issued a month before the virus arrived on US shores. He added that a swift shutdown could have protected many lives if implemented early on. Meanwhile, the impact of the virus on the Eurozone seems to be gradually slowing down. Accordingly, Italy recorded its lowest daily death toll since March 19th, with 431 deaths reported yesterday, bringing its total death toll to 19,899. The number of deaths in Spain from yesterday was 603, bringing its total death toll to 17,200. In the last 24 hours in France, only 561 deaths were reported, bringing its total death toll to 14,412. This was the lowest daily death toll in the country this month. In the UK, 737 deaths were reported yesterday, bringing its total death toll to 10,600, but deaths outside hospitals are not included in this count, according to international news reports. Meanwhile, 108 new infections were detected in China yesterday, out of which 98 were reportedly imported cases. Among them were 61 patients who are yet to show any symptoms. This figure is the highest number of infections reported by the country in a single day in the past month. 2 deaths were also reported yesterday. Closer to home, 35 deaths have been reported from India in the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of deaths has risen to 308 and the number of infected patients has exceeded 9,000.
Dr. Peter Hotez warns that even if the curve is starting to flatten, there's still a long, grim...
And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. All of us here wish you all a very happy New Year. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.